The air hung heavy in the courtroom, thick with anticipation. It was a place where justice was meant to be served, where the truth was supposed to triumph. Yet within these hallowed halls, shadows of doubt often lingered. This was the stage for Mary Druhan's tragedy, a tale of wrongful accusation, a life ensnared in a web of deceit and despair. The year was 1987, and the city was Boston, a place steeped in history, both proud and painful. Mary, a young woman with a spirit as vibrant as the city she called home, found herself caught in this unforgiving system, her life about to be irrevocably altered. The courtroom, with its dark wood paneling and towering ceilings, had witnessed countless dramas unfold. The charges against her were grave, the evidence seemingly insurmountable, and the prosecution relentless. Each piece of evidence, they argued, pointed directly to Mary's guilt, weaving a tapestry of deceit that threatened to suffocate her. Mary Druhan was a woman of simple means, her life a tapestry woven from the threads of family, faith, and community. She was a devoted mother, her days filled with the joys and challenges of raising her two young children. Her small apartment, nestled in the heart of a bustling Irish-American neighborhood, was her sanctuary. Life had not always been easy for Mary. She had known her share of hardship, having lost her husband Patrick to a sudden illness a few years prior. But through it all, her spirit remained unbroken. The news of the accusations hit Mary like a physical blow, shattering the fragile peace she had built around herself and her children. Friends and neighbors, once sources of comfort and support, now eyed her with suspicion, their whispers following her like shadows. The accusations had poisoned the well of their relationships, leaving her feeling isolated and alone. The prosecution's case seemed ironclad, a fortress of evidence constructed around a narrative that painted Mary as a cold, calculating criminal. Eyewitness testimonies placed her at the scene of the crime, their words like stones thrown at her character, chipping away at her innocence. Forensic evidence, presented with an air of undeniable certainty, seemed to solidify her guilt. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly impenetrable case, whispers of doubt began to emerge. There were inconsistencies in the testimonies, discrepancies in the timeline of events, details that refused to align neatly with the prosecution's narrative. These whispers, faint at first, gradually grew louder, fueled by the unwavering belief in Mary's innocence held by her family and a young, determined lawyer named Sarah. Sarah, fresh out of law school, was drawn to the case by an innate sense of justice and a deep-seated belief in the flawed nature of the system. She saw in Mary a woman wrongfully accused, a victim of circumstance trapped in a system that seemed determined to break her. Her efforts uncovered a pattern of inconsistencies, a trail of doubt that wound its way through the heart of the prosecution's case. The trial dragged on, each day an agonizing test of Mary's strength and resilience. The courtroom became her world, a stage where her life was dissected, her character assassinated, and her fate hung precariously in the balance. The prosecution, relentless in their pursuit, presented their case with unwavering confidence. The weight of the accusations, the relentless scrutiny of the public eye, and the fear that gnawed at her soul took a heavy toll on Mary. Her once vibrant spirit dimmed, her shoulders slumped under the weight of injustice, yet she refused to be broken. Despite the emergence of doubt, despite Sarah's tireless efforts to expose the flaws in the prosecution's case, the jury delivered a guilty verdict. The courtroom, which had been filled with the murmur of anticipation just moments before, fell silent. The judge, his face a mask of dispassionate authority, sentenced her to a life behind bars. The years that followed were a blur of despair and resignation. Mary, stripped of her freedom, her dignity, and her name, became a number in a system that seemed to have forgotten her humanity. The bars of her cell became the defining feature of her existence, a constant reminder of the injustice she endured. The world outside, a world she once knew, continued without her. The rhythm of her children's lives, their laughter, their tears, their triumphs, and their heartbreaks, forever out of reach. The weight of her wrongful conviction pressed down on her, suffocating her spirit. Yet even in the depths of her despair, a flicker of hope remained. Sarah, her lawyer, her advocate, her lifeline to the world outside, refused to let her case be forgotten. She continued to fight for Mary, to seek the truth, to expose the flaws in the system that had condemned an innocent woman. Sarah tirelessly pursued every lead, every avenue of appeal, her determination fueled by the injustice of Mary's conviction. Her efforts, though often met with resistance and indifference, were a testament to her unwavering belief in Mary's innocence. The impact of Mary's wrongful conviction extended far beyond the cold, sterile walls of her prison cell. It ripped through the fabric of her family, leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair. Her children, robbed of their mother's love and guidance, were forced to navigate the complexities of life without her comforting presence. The pain of her absence was a constant ache in their hearts, a void that could never be filled. Her son, Michael, once a carefree boy with a mischievous grin and a heart full of dreams, retreated into himself. He struggled to reconcile the image of his loving mother with the monstrous criminal she had been portrayed as in court. Her daughter, Colleen, once a bright and bubbly child with a love for life that mirrored her mother's, withered under the shadow of her mother's conviction. The family, once a source of strength and support for each other, fractured under the weight of Mary's absence. The injustice of Mary's conviction had not only robbed her of her freedom, but had torn apart the very fabric of her family. The passage of time did little to ease the pain of Mary's wrongful conviction. The years marched on, each one a stark reminder of the life she had lost, the future stolen from her. The walls of her prison cell, once cold and impersonal, became strangely familiar, a testament to her resilience. Yet beneath the surface of her stoicism, deep within her soul, the wounds of injustice festered. The trauma of her experience manifested in ways both seen and unseen. The nightmares that jolted her awake in a cold sweat, the crippling anxiety that gripped her in moments of quiet reflection, the deep-seated mistrust of authority figures, all served as constant reminders of the ordeal she had endured. The system designed to rehabilitate had instead broken her spirit, leaving her emotionally and psychologically scarred. The lack of access to adequate mental health care within the prison system only exacerbated her suffering. The scars of her wrongful conviction ran deep, invisible to the naked eye, yet ever present, a constant reminder of the injustice she had suffered. Fate, it seemed, had not entirely forsaken Mary. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against her, a small glimmer of hope began to emerge from the shadows. It was as if the universe had decided to give her one last chance, a final opportunity to prove her innocence and reclaim her life. Sarah, her lawyer, her unwavering advocate, stumbled upon a piece of evidence that had the potential to shatter the very foundation of the prosecution's case. Sarah had always believed in Mary's innocence, and her relentless pursuit of the truth had finally paid off. This discovery was not just a stroke of luck, it was the result of countless hours of meticulous research and unwavering dedication. It was a seemingly insignificant detail, overlooked during the initial investigation, yet it held the power to rewrite the narrative that had condemned Mary to a life behind bars. This detail, hidden in plain sight, had the potential to change everything. It was a small, almost trivial piece of information, but in the world of law, even the smallest detail can make a monumental difference. The evidence, a witness statement buried deep within a mountain of case files, corroborated a crucial detail of Mary's alibi, placing her miles away from the scene of the crime at the time it was committed. This statement, long forgotten and dismissed, was now the key to unlocking the truth. It was a testament to the importance of thoroughness and the value of every piece of information, no matter how small. The witness, an elderly woman living in a nursing home, had come forward with this information years earlier, but her account had been dismissed as the ramblings of a confused old woman. Her testimony, once ignored, was now the cornerstone of Sarah's case. It was a poignant reminder of how easily the voices of the vulnerable can be silenced, and how crucial it is to listen to every story, no matter how unlikely it may seem. Sarah, with the tenacity of a bulldog and the unwavering belief in her client's innocence, tracked down the witness. She knew that this woman's testimony could be the difference between freedom and a lifetime of imprisonment for Mary. Sarah's determination was unwavering, and her commitment to justice was unshakable. She would stop at nothing to ensure that the truth was heard. The woman, though frail and her memory fading with age, recalled the events of that fateful day with surprising clarity. Her recollection was vivid and detailed, painting a picture of innocence that had been overlooked for far too long. Her words were a beacon of hope, a light in the darkness that had consumed Mary's life. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point in a case that had seemed hopeless. Armed with this newfound evidence, Sarah filed a motion for a new trial. This motion was not just a legal document. It was a symbol of hope and a testament to the power of perseverance. It represented a chance for Mary to finally have her day in court, to tell her story, and to fight for her freedom. It was a moment of triumph for Sarah, a validation of her tireless efforts and unwavering belief in her client's innocence. The motion, a beacon of hope in the darkness that had enveloped Mary's life, sent ripples of anticipation and trepidation through the legal community. It was a moment of collective breath-holding, a pause in the relentless march of justice. The legal community watched with bated breath, waiting to see if this glimmer of hope would be enough to change the course of Mary's life. It was a moment of profound significance, a testament to the power of hope and the enduring belief in justice.